Hey guys, so about 2 months ago I purchased the Superior Singing Method, and I really wanted to give this thing its best chance at succeeding, so I made it a priority. I practiced every morning. I was very consistent with this thing. I went on vacation, and during that week it was a little more difficult, and I did miss a day or two here and there, but for the most part I was very consistent. I did exactly what the regimen told me to do, and here I am at the end of the course now, and what do I think? Well, in summary, I would say I feel like I got my money's worth out of the course, but if I could go back, I would probably invest in a different course. And here's what I mean by that. So if you're a beginner and you're very new to singing, a course like this would probably really help you out. I think it does a really good job kind of teaching you all about the voice and showing you how to properly use it and laying down a good foundation that you can build off of and grow as a vocalist. So if you're a beginner, you'll probably notice the most improvement. But if you're more of an intermediate vocalist, kind of like myself, I've looked up YouTube videos and like I can sing, but I have good and bad days, and I'm kind of limited with what I can do with my voice. So if you're that kind of vocalist, you will improve, but it's not going to be very noticeable to others. It's only going to be noticeable to you. So for instance, like I can sing higher notes. This course did help me become a more consistent vocalist. I don't have quite as many bad days, and even on the bad days, I can sort of get by a lot easier. So it's given me more consistency, and I can hit higher notes with less effort. And some notes kind of impressive, like, oh wow, I didn't know I could hit that. So that's nice, but those really high notes, even though I'm not straining for them, they don't necessarily sound good, so I don't quite know that they're usable. Now, hopefully, with continued practice, maybe eventually the notes in the higher register of my voice will eventually sound very nice. But yeah, for the most part, it's like I'm more comfortable with singing, but I'm not sure that anyone listening would really notice. They would just think, okay, he's having a good singing day. But as far as pros, like there are a few things that I am satisfied with the course, and so here's what I'll say about it. First off, spending the money I think pushed me to commit more. When you're just watching YouTube videos, there's a lot of information out there, and some of it can kind of be like good, some of it can be bad. But for the most part, it's free information, and so you kind of just check it out when it's convenient for you, and it's easy to like you might practice for a while, and then it's easy to kind of fall out of practice and let other things take priority. But by purchasing a course, there's a slightly different scenario. You're invested now because you've put money, and it's like, oh man, the course, it's not very expensive. It was 2 monthly payments of $40. So I was like, well, that's not too bad. And there was a 100% money back guarantee. So to me, I was like, all right, well, I might as well get it. Try it out, give this thing its best chance at succeeding. And if I'm really not satisfied with it, then I can just ask for my money back. And so I tried it out, but by putting the money in and having that kind of deadline, it sort of forced me to like really commit and really prioritize my singing practice. And so I think that alone has been very useful for me. And I can say that from now on, I'm going to continue. Like I sort of applied it to my morning routine, and from now on in my morning routine, I'm going to include vocal practice. So that's been helpful to me. And if anything, I think just practicing more consistently has really helped me out. The next thing I'd say is it did give me a better understanding of how to practice. He's got a lot of exercises in his course that cover specific topics, different things that to help improve the voice. Things on your vocal resonance or your vocal tone or your pitch or breath support or whatever. And there's different exercises for these specific things, and then he kind of shows you like how to properly practice them and such. And so that's kind of nice. And what's nice about that is now that I've finished the course, I have sort of a formula or an outline that I can apply to my practice routine from now on. And basically, if I'm working on something specific, I can just kind of pick and choose which exercises I want to do, which ones are going to most benefit my singing goals. I can also go to YouTube and look up other exercises from other well-known vocal coaches and include those exercises into the regimen. So it kind of gives you like a nice outline for practice. And it helps it become more of a habit, something that you can do more often and include in your daily routine. So that's really nice. And then last off, I would just say that I am confident that I will continue to grow if I keep practicing. I think it showed me that if I keep practicing, I will get better as a vocalist. I think it's kind of unrealistic to expect to become like a super vocalist in only 2 months. So I'm hoping that with proper practice, I'll continue to be able to sing with more ease and refine the tone of my voice. And hopefully 6 months from now, I'll have some noticeable improvement to others listening to me sing. and hopefully a year from now I'll actually be a really good vocalist. We'll see. I'm not sure. But here's what I'll say. So those are kind of the pros. But during the time that I was doing this, I was obviously like, my mind was on vocal training, and so I was kind of watching other YouTube videos and stuff, and I came across a video by 10-Second Songs, if you've ever seen that channel. What's his name? Anthony. He's a phenomenal vocalist, and I was watching a video of him where he was talking about his growth as a vocalist, and he was sort of showing some footage of him like way back before proper vocal training, and to my surprise, he wasn't the greatest vocalist, and he really struggled to get some high notes, and now it's like he sings them with ease. He's become this really powerful, really free, really flexible vocalist. It just seems like he could sing anything he wants, and I was informed that he had been trained by Ken Tamplin. Now, I had seen Ken Tamplin's videos on YouTube before. I've watched a few, and I've done some of the exercises he shared. But after seeing that, it kind of caused me to research a little bit more, and I realized I think him and a lot of his students were not necessarily great vocalists to begin with. They weren't, naturally good singers, and then through proper training, they just own their voice. They just have so much control over their singing voice. And so with some research and kind of learning about that, I felt like, I was kind of like, man, that seems like a really good course. He seems like a really good teacher. And I will say this, a lot of the things that he was talking about, I would compare them to the superior singing method. And fortunately, they're teaching both similar things. And so that made me feel a little better, like, okay, I think I'm learning some good stuff here, even if it is from a different vocal coach. And that kind of helped me to keep practicing. But all in all, I do kind of wonder, what the Ken Tamplin Singing Academy one is like. And I looked at the price, and it is a more expensive course for like for a foundation singing course. It's like $200, maybe a little less, something like that. And then for the more advanced, which is kind of what I'm interested in, it's about $300. Now, there's a lot of stuff that comes with that course. It seems like a really, that seems like a reasonable price considering the course, but that's a lot more money than the $80 I spent on the course that I went through. If I could go back, I'd probably save my money, and then hopefully, I think Ken Tamplin does some sales sometimes, so maybe I could get the advanced course for more like $200. But I do think I'd rather save up and invest in a course like that if I could go back. But I did purchase this course, and it wasn't too expensive, and I do feel like I learned a lot, and I do think I can take what I've learned and continue practicing and grow as a vocalist. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out. If for some reason you're a fan of the superior singing method, if you're a fan of Aaron, then by all means go ahead and buy his course. I don't think you'll be disappointed. But if you're looking for like some really heavy growth, or you want to invest in just one course that's going to really help you out, I don't have any personal experience, but I'm kind of I'm sort of leaning towards the Ken Tamplin Singing Academy, but I don't think you can go wrong with either course. I think they're both worth checking out. And one last thing I'll say, if you're really young, if you're like a teenager and you happen to be watching this, let me just say, if you're kind of thinking about, should I take vocal lessons? Please take vocal lessons. Please do it, because I absolutely love singing, and in my family, it seems like all my siblings are kind of born with like naturally good voices, and for whatever reason, I don't have a naturally good singing voice. I've had to work really hard to sing as well as I can, and I'm continuing to work. I'm continuing to practice, and it just would have been nice if I'd started younger. If I had started taking vocal lessons when I was younger and maybe learned some proper technique and things, maybe I'd have a better foundation to build off of now, and maybe I'd actually be a pretty good vocalist. But instead, I feel like I'm a little behind, and I'm having to practice, and it might be a while before I really get to where I want to be as a vocalist. But so if you're young, please, do vocal lessons. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Until next time.